Main man here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing, man. So word on the curb is that it's official now. We got Adrien the Problem Broner versus Mikey Garcia going down July 29th at the Barclays Center. Let's see. Early thoughts about this fight. Well, first off, I've already made one video pertaining to this fight. And in that particular video, man, I was real negative. I was quite negative about this fight. And don't get me wrong, I feel the exact same way today. But for the sake of not trying to be too negative about the sport of boxing, I will try to omit some of that stuff. You know, I'm not going to get into how, this is a pussy fight for Broner, a great fight for Garcia, why Broner couldn't fight another 140 fighter, why Broner is avoiding 147. We're not going to go down that road in this particular video. Now, first off, this is a hard fight to call, in my opinion, from a style point of view, because neither man in my possess the threat that I think beats the other man. Meaning that in Mikey Garcia's case, I always said that Mikey Garcia fights very few slick fighters. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't fight a lot of guys who's going to put a lot of technique on him. He fights a lot of stand in front of you fighters, flat-footed fighters, guys who's not going to do much in the head movement department, stuff like that. And honestly, I don't believe Adrien Broner is that really much of a slick fighter. I think he is more of a flat-footed guy. Does not let his hands go as a brawler. He's more of a, calculated fighter, pot shot fighter. And in Adrien Broner's case, man, with Mikey Garcia, we all know what pressure fighters give Adrien Broner problems, aggressive pressure fighters. And Mikey Garcia has been more so known as a technical boxer. You know what I'm saying? He possesses decent power for his weight division, but he's always been known as a boxing style fighter. You know what I'm saying? It's clearly the kind of fighters that Adrien Broner has had more success over. So that's why I say from a stylistic point of view, it's kind of tough. Now, of course, the major X factor, the 800-pound gorilla in the room, would be, quite frankly, that Adrien Broner is a higher weight. You know what I mean? But then when you factor in the fact that this fight is actually going down at 140, then you say to yourself, hey, what will happen if Adrien Broner, who's failed to make weight at 140 for a minute now, what happens if he gets down to 140? Is he the same exact Adrien Broner? You know what I mean? Now, Mikey Garcia, we've seen him perform at 140. First fight back from his hiatus, he came back and he had his first fight at 140, and he looked phenomenal at 140. He stopped the guy, knocked him out. He looked very good. So wasn't a high-level opponent, sure, but he still looked very good. And Adrien Broner, him cutting that weight, man, what would it do? He says he's always hitting this brick wall to get down to 140. We seen how in his last fight they had the last minute change the weight to raise the weight up. We seen how in the Sean Porter fight at the last minute they changed the weight. This is becoming a more so routine for Adrien Broner. So it's a lot of unopened questions, man. But if I had to give my early thoughts, man, on an early prediction, just the weight factor with Adrien Broner just shows a lot to me. I think he'll have the power advantage. I think he'll have the weight advantage. I don't know what his engine is going to be like, given that, we've been seeing videos of Adrien Broner doing lean. We've been seeing videos of Broner in the club. He's always looking out of shape and shit, man. So he's been in jail and shit a couple times, So, we don't know exactly, what shape Adrien Broner is going to come into this particular fight now. But it's going to take everything in Broner to make 140, man. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, man. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. When I was saying in my first video, as far as the opponents, I would have liked to seen Adrien Broner face a lot of other guys now, especially if he's going to still campaign at 140. And we all know we inevitably wanted to see him face Terrence Bud Crawford instead of, in Mikey Garcia. We expected, quite honestly, Adrien Broner's fighter, Robert Easter, to be fighting Mikey Garcia before Adrien Broner. This shit came out of nowhere on our ass, man. But like I said, man, I was hoping that Adrien Broner, if he was going to stay at 140, there's a lot of other names I would have liked to see him fight. But also, given that this fight is going down, it's going down on Showtime. It's one of the few, I guess, televisable fighters that Adrien Broner could come up with to put on Showtime. There ain't a lot of big names, I guess, popular names at 140 that you can want to see a televised fight. Outside of Adrien Broner going up to welterweight, maybe there was no one else that Showtime would be, down for to see Adrien Broner fight, other than Mikey Garcia, a 135 fighter, man. So it is what it is, man. But it's going to be explosive, man. I think these two fighters, they do have respect for one another, according to Adrien Broner, who's so-called friends with the entire boxing world and shit. Him and Mikey Garcia are friends. So We'll see. But however, in his last fight against Granados, him and Granados was supposed to be friends, and we see how that fight ended. It came down to a nice, good fight, a damn near war. You know what I mean? So clearly, it shouldn't mean much, going into this fight, as far as them two being friends or whatnot. And I think this is Mikey's basically golden opportunity right here. This is the opportunity that Mikey Garcia has been wanting for quite some time, man. And I think he looks at Adrien Broner as a fuck up. We see the early statements from Mikey Garcia saying that Adrien Broner is a talented fighter, but he never took it serious and stuff like that. So maybe he views Adrien Broner as his typical flat-footed opponent that doesn't take the fight game serious or nearly as serious as he does, and he believed that his skill set is better than Adrien Broner's, man. Like I said, for Mikey Garcia, this is a very, very defining moment. He needs to capitalize on this moment. This is the moment that he's been waiting for a long, long time, ladies and gentlemen. Honestly, since the Yorkis Gamboa fight fell through for Mikey Garcia a few years back, he has been waiting on a fight of this caliber. We see him down at 135, and I think the reason he's even campaigning at 135 is because he saw a much more easier route to a championship. He could have got Linares, he could have got Robert Easter, who I think would have given him problems. Flanagan, whichever one. Any of those champions, I think he saw as a more easier route, also a much more popular route to a championship, and it also makes sure he avoids turns Bud Crawford, man. So, I don't know, man. It's a good fight for Mikey Garcia. Clearly his defining moment. As for Adrien Broner, the fighter with 9 fucking lives, man, everyone always has this notion, oh, Al Heyman's trying to cash out Adrien Broner. He's tired of Adrien Broner. And I've heard every damn near uploader say that shit, man. And yet every fight we come back, Adrien Broner's back in a nationally televised fight with somebody. You know what I'm saying? And in his last couple fights, they wasn't the most heaviest threats. You know what I'm saying? And this Granados kid, and before that it was Ashley Theophane. Before that it was Khabib Belak. So for all of y'all out there, Sean Porter was in there somewhere. For everybody out there thinking that they were trying to feed Adrien Broner to the wolves, y'all couldn't have been much more bigger wrong. You know what I mean? Because if they were trying to feed Adrien Broner to the wolves, Adrien Broner would be at welterweight, and Al Heyman would have made sure that Adrien Broner would have walked up to welterweight. Now, personally, I think I would have preferred to see Danny Garcia instead of Mikey Garcia versus Adrien Broner, but it is what it is, and it is what we got. July 29th, man. If Adrien Broner loses this fight, y'all, I'm telling you, man, there ain't nothing. I repeat, now I really believe there's nothing left for Adrien Broner if he loses this fight. Losing against a smaller fighter, though Mikey Garcia is well respected, but still losing against a smaller fighter just would not look good against Adrien Broner. Especially, I don't know, his fighter, Robert Easter, who campaigns at 135, and he's a world champion. Imagine what he would look like. Look how he looks at Adrien Broner if Adrien Broner loses to a guy in his weight class. You know what I mean? I know he already got to be feeling some sort of way from Adrien Broner taking a very good, recognizable opponent from him. But, shit, man. Let me put this into perspective like this. Imagine Regendow fighting Nicholas Walters. Will y'all be down for that fight? Imagine, Lomachenko fighting Manny Pacquiao today. Will y'all be down for that fight? Because that's how I feel about this fight. Yeah, the both fighters are skilled or whatnot. They got some skill with them, but it's just not. Okay, all right. I'm not going to be negative. I'm not going to be negative. But I will say, man, July 29th, Barclays Center, Adrien Broner versus Mikey Garcia. Basically a defining moment for both fighters, man. I hope the build-up is entertaining, to say the least. I hope we at least get a good build-up to this thing, man. And we'll see, man. We'll see. July 29th, Barclays Center. And what more can I say? To the next video, Main Man, Made Man. Don't forget to subscribe. Twitter, Made Man 511. Facebook, Main Man, Made Man. Boxing Forum. Google Plus, Main Man, Made Man. 2017 for boxing, y'all. Everybody's is riding that train and saying that this year is the shit. No question about it. This year for boxing, man, goddamn, boxing is on fucking fire. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I don't put this fight right here in that caliber. And that's just my personal opinion. But whatever the fuck. To the next video. Peace out.